starts right now.
After weeks of waiting, some 400 American passengers aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship have disembarked and are finally on their way home right now. Docked in Japan since February 3rd, the passengers were taken by bus from the cruise ship directly to Tokyo, where 2 airplanes were waiting for them. Those planes currently making their way across the Pacific. And while San Antonio is the destination for one of those planes, the journey for those on board is far from over.
Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland now making preparations to receive those passengers. The flight carrying them is expected to arrive overnight at Kelly Airfield, where they will then be taken over to Lackland for a mandatory 14-day quarantine.
The night team Stephen Cavazos has been at Kelly Field all afternoon and evening. Stephen is live right now. Are we seeing any preparations made to transport those passengers?
Well, Courtney, that's what we're still waiting to see. We have been tracking that flight, and according to Kalitta Air's website, that charter plane is expected to arrive much later than anticipated. At last check, the flight is still en route here to Kelly Field Airport, but is expected to arrive around 3:30 tomorrow morning. Now, the U.S. government recommended that Americans on board the cruise ship disembark and receive further monitoring here in the States. It's not clear right now how many passengers are actually coming to San Antonio, but the second plane, which left from Japan, is on the way to Travis Air Force Base in California, where passengers will also be quarantined.
Are we for sure going to be quarantined for 14 days?
Yes.
I didn't like that answer.
Now, passengers on board the flights are still being closely monitored for the duration of the trip. Anyone that tests positive or becomes symptomatic will be taken to an off-base facility regulated by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, their arrival comes after the Department of Defense announced quarantine zones at Lackland and 3 other military bases will have extended availability until mid-March. Now, again, that flight destined for San Antonio is expected to arrive around 3:30 tomorrow morning. Stay with KSAT as we continue to bring you the very latest. For now, reporting live, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. Tim, Courtney.
Thank you, Stephen. When you think of your local school board member, you probably don't think of this. A former attorney who was forced to give up his law license on probation for 2 felonies and asked to leave by fellow board members. But for the past 2 years, Gary Inman of the Schertz Cibolo Universal City ISD has refused to give up the seat he's held for 20 years. And now he's facing new legal woes from a roofing company and his ex-wife. It's tonight's Defender's investigation.
I wish there was more we could do. We're limited by statute and by law. Sorry about that.
All those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand.
Schertz Cibolo Universal City ISD board members seemed embarrassed by ex-attorney Gary Inman, charged with misappropriating more than $100,000 from a deceased client's estate. He pled guilty to 2 felony charges and got 10 years deferred adjudication probation. He also agreed to stop practicing law, but oddly enough, refused to resign from the SCUC board, leaving the school district with one option: censuring him twice. The first time when Inman was indicted on those charges, the second time coming months later when he pled guilty. The school board instructed that he only represent the district when doing his statutory duties. Then board president Robert Westbrook said it was the best they could do because, according to state law, Inman's guilty plea didn't stop him from holding office.
Essentially, he has to be convicted of a felony by jury. Deferred adjudication, it's my understanding, is not a conviction of a felony.
But Inman continues to be a fixture at SCUC events, attending graduations, school dedications, parades, and other occasions. Earlier this month, Inman read to these kids at an elementary school. Pictures were shared to the district's social media accounts, which led to complaints from parents. When asked why Inman continues to appear at events promoted by the district's own social media, the current board president said this: "The Board of Trustees has twice censured trustee Gary Inman for his personal conduct in the example it set for our students. Working together, the board will further clarify board member discretionary duties for all trustees and expectations for trustees who have been censured." Now Inman is facing new legal problems, like this civil case filed in October accusing him of failing to pay for a new roof, alleging that he owes nearly $21,000 to Holden Roofing. In a statement to the defenders, Inman said, quote, "The roofing company and I had a good faith dispute and we have resolved the disagreement," end quote. But the attorney for the roofing company told us they are still negotiating a settlement, and Guadalupe County court records showed the case as still pending. And if that's not enough, his ex-wife is also suing Inman for allegedly failing to pay child support to the tune of nearly $5,000 at the time the civil suit was filed in December. In a statement to the defenders, Gary Inman refuted the claim, saying, quote, "Contrary to my ex-wife's allegations, all appropriate child support has been paid." And he also told us he plans to continue representing the district as a board member, saying, quote, "I am a duly elected school board member in SCUC and intend to fulfill all of the functions of that office."
And Gary Inman and his ex-wife are due in court in March, and his current term on the board expires in November 2021. Mr. Inman did not respond when I asked if he planned to run for re-election.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is now dealing with 2 new inmate deaths happening less than a week apart. Officials say both were due to medical conditions. Japhanie Gray spoke with Sheriff Javier Salazar, who says they are seeing unhealthy inmates way too often.
Nothing more heartbreaking when you try everything in your power to save somebody's life and you just can't. That's a heartbreaking experience.
Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says the 64-year-old inmate's death this afternoon is now the second inmate death they've had since the start of this year.
He was here with diabetes and hypertension, just in general poor health, which is something that we're seeing a lot of here, over the last few years.
That inmate booked February 9th on a theft charge under $2,500, which enhanced to a state jail felony due to his criminal history. His bond set at only $3,000, which means he could have bonded out for $300. Unfortunately, at 2:21, while waiting in the infirmary to be transported to University Hospital for treatment, he went into cardiac arrest. Deputies, medical staff, and EMS performed life-saving measures, but the inmate was pronounced dead at 3:06. A similar incident happened this past Wednesday. 50-year-old Claudine Marie Parisi also suffered a cardiac arrest.
It appears that her death was due to natural causes, but just generally poor health. My understanding is she had an enlarged heart from drug use.
She was booked 24 hours earlier for criminal trespassing of a private property with a bond of only $200 or $20. She died days later after being placed on life support. Salazar says though deputies are going through medical training, he hopes the county can find a better solution when it comes down to housing inmates.
Keeping it for people that are dangerous to society. And let's put these people in a hospital bed somewhere. Let's put these people in a mental health bed. Absolutely, they still need to be held accountable for their crime.
Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
To other top stories we've been following today, we have learned the name of a man who was found dead near Harlandale High School earlier this week. The Bexar County Medical Examiner has identified him as 25-year-old Jonathan Hope. His body was found Tuesday on Rosebud Lane. His cause of death was ruled as a gunshot wound to the head. A 15-year-old has been arrested and is now facing a murder charge in connection with Hope's death. It's unclear whether Hope and the teen knew each other. A teen suspect now in the Bexar County Juvenile Detention Center.
Also tonight, Bexar County Sheriff's deputies are asking for your help finding missing 42-year-old Joel Eugene Cross. He was reported missing yesterday. Deputies say he was last seen in the 6000 block of Encanto Point Drive wearing gray sweatpants, a blue and gray sweater with stripes, and no shoes. Cross has a medical condition that requires medication. If you have information about where he is, you're asked to contact deputies at 210-335-6000.
Good evening. Taking a look outside with live cam, down to 57 degrees. Nice and cool out there now, but we'll see if that fog redevelops late tonight through early tomorrow morning. So we started off foggy this morning, a little bit of clearing in the afternoon, and I expect we'll do that all over again tomorrow. And we've got a couple of spring-like days coming up to start the week. We'll see our temperatures in the afternoon climb back into the 70s, but winter will be making a comeback before too much longer. We have a front coming through late Tuesday, and look what this does to our afternoon temperatures. By Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have a really hard time warming up thanks to additional cloud cover and rain. So some big changes coming within the next couple of days. We'll talk in detail more about this. Get you ready for the week ahead. Coming up, Courtney.
Thank you, Katie. Now to the 2020 race and for the battle for Nevada. With the caucus now less than 1 week away, candidates are stumping hard, getting ready for a debate on Wednesday. ABC's Rachel Scott is following the action from Las Vegas.
The Democratic candidates for president flooding the state of Nevada Sunday ahead of the first contest in the West. The caucus is just 6 days out and early voting is already underway. Mayor Pete Buttigieg leading with the most amount of delegates so far, taking aim at conservative radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh, who said the country won't elect him because he's been kissing his husband on stage after debates.
I love my husband. I'm faithful to my husband. On stage, we usually just go for a hug, but I love him very much. And I'm not going to take lectures on family values from the likes of Rush Limbaugh.
Senator Bernie Sanders, fresh off his New Hampshire victory, continued his Medicare for All push at a rally in Carson City.
The function of health care is to provide quality care to all, not to make huge profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies.
Former Vice President Joe Biden attacking Sanders' health care proposal.
He's been talking about health care, Medicare for all, universal health care for 35 years. Nothing's happened. I helped get past Obamacare.
Senator Amy Klobuchar racing to get ahead. Despite finishing third in New Hampshire polls, she has limited support in Nevada and South Carolina.
My name identification in states outside of the early few states was not that high.
Meanwhile, President Trump on his way home from his Florida retreat, making a grand entrance at the Daytona 500.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
With a lap around the famed racetrack and his presidential limo. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Las Vegas.
Still to come on the Nightbeat, the passengers of the cruise ship Diamond Princess continuing to make their way to a new quarantine here in San Antonio tonight. The number of victims of the coronavirus only continuing to grow at the same time. Plus, following a tough fight against alcoholism and drug addiction, a local woman now making it big in bartending. She's sharing her story in an effort to help others in this week's What's Up, South Texas?
Plus, hitting Parkinson's where it hurts, why local patients are using their fists to combat the development of their disease. That story and more right after the break. Hand tremors, slow movement, stiffness, loss of balance, all symptoms of Parkinson's disease. The neurological disease has no cure, but patients here in San Antonio are finding a way to keep it at bay. They're fighting it with hard punches that soften the physical, emotional, and mental toll.
Thumbs down when you're punching. Let's go.
Leo Zuniga knows his way around a boxing gym. He used to train amateur and professional boxers.
I've been doing it on and off since 1982.
Okay, now switch legs, switch legs.
In 2011, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. But like he always taught his students, success only comes with tireless perseverance. So he boxes alongside people he can relate to. Almost everyone in this class has Parkinson's.
All ages. Yeah, one gentleman here is 82 years old.
Diane Johnson is a registered nurse who's worked with movement disorders for 25 years.
With Parkinson's, they have a lack of dopamine, which is a neurochemical. So by doing strenuous exercise, raising the heart rate, doing big movements like stretching your arms, stretching your legs, that helps to increase the amount of dopamine that's circulating in your brain.
She found research proving boxing was the best type of exercise. So 3 years ago, she teamed up with Raul Garza to start the Punch Out Parkinson's program. Local gym owners and trainers were so supportive, they began offering free classes.
Until it burns, make it burn.
When Raul Garza was diagnosed in 2010, he found it hard to stay positive, knowing there was no cure. But starting this boxing program changed that. And let me tell you, these workouts are not easy. And not only the coaches here are seeing progress, but they also say their doctors are seeing a big difference.
Gives you something to do and gives you something to look forward to. Yeah, you forget a lot. And all of a sudden you start trembling and it comes back to you. Like, that's right, I do have Parkinson's.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Zuniga punches the mitts like they are the disease.
2, 3, 2.
The trainer, Adrian Rodriguez, used to be his student. Now the roles have been swapped. An honor for Rodriguez to help heal his own coach and watch the entire class fill each other with hope.
It is a support group. We have a camaraderie that we build over time.
That camaraderie knocking fear out of the way. And these classes are free for patients and their families or caregivers. They're held 3 times a week at 2 different gyms. We just showed you one of them. The group also holds a support session on the second Saturday of every month at UT Health San Antonio. On our website, we have all the information about the classes and how to sign up. Just head to ksat.com and look for the story.
What a cool program. Therapy through punching something.
Exactly. And really, I'm serious when I say that. That is really hard to do. I mean, I was watching, it's a full hour too. Yeah, they were really impressive.
Very cool.
You might want to punch somebody about midweek, right? After we've been spoiled with spring-like weather. Not you.
Going on? No, please.
No punching Katie.
Catch me if you can. Yeah, we've got more big swings coming this week, and I know this time of year it's like that. The crud and everything, it's like these big swings can't help, and we do have some colder air moving in just a couple of days. It was very spring-like out there today. High temperatures down in the low 80s down to the south, 81 in Cotulla, 72 here in San Antonio. That's as warm as we got after we shook the morning cloud cover. 77 the high temperature in Kerrville. Our average high temperature this time of year is still in the mid to upper 60s, so pretty warm out there. Look at your week ahead. President's Day tomorrow be another warm day, and we'll keep high temperatures in the 70s through Tuesday. But you'll notice rain chances start to kick in on Tuesday with the arrival of a cold front. And look at our temperatures: 52 on Wednesday, 49 on Thursday, and then we'll stay in the 50s until the start of next weekend. So it's going to be quite cold here, gusty, and we've got some light rain chances to talk about. So if you want good chilly weather, good soup weather, that's coming up. Just give it a couple more days. Out there right now, it's nice and cool, but we have a pretty decent spread in our temperatures. A 10-degree temperature spread from San Antonio down to Cotulla. We're at 57. They're 65 in Gonzales. Part of that is because we've got a big spread in our dew points right now. Dew point is more than 10 degrees higher over in Gonzales, so the air is a bit more saturated there, and temperatures haven't been allowed to fall as much this evening. Slightly lower dew points here along the I-35 corridor, and then some upper 40s off to the west. But we've got a southeasterly wind at the surface that's going to continue to bring those dew point numbers up. Visibility is down a lot, down closer to the coast. Elsewhere, things are fine, but we are actually showing a 2-mile visibility there in New Braunfels, but visibility is fine here in San Antonio for now. The trend tonight through early tomorrow morning, we'll see fog become more widespread, and you'll wake up to another kind of gross morning tomorrow. Fog, mist, a little bit of drizzle possible to start the day, with temperatures maybe warming up a little bit from where they are right now. I think we'll head out the door tomorrow morning in the low 60s, warming into the mid to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Like today, we'll shake the fog and the drizzle by midday. Mostly cloudy, partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. Bottom line, another warm day tomorrow. So we'll start off your work and school week near 80 degrees, and then Tuesday another warm day. But Tuesday is when we'll turn our attention off to the north to watch our front come through. This should get to San Antonio between about 4 and 6 p.m. on Tuesday. So that's why I'm going to put your high temperature low to mid 70s. We should have enough time to warm up Tuesday afternoon before this frontal boundary gets here. Notice, friends up in the hill country, it's going to get to you first, so you will not be quite as warm on Tuesday. Some more low 80s down to Cotulla and off to the southwest. That's a possibility. So looking at a spread in temperatures on Tuesday. As this front arrives, we'll see temperatures start to fall pretty much right away. A strong north wind will kick in right away as well. And by Wednesday morning, we're in the mid to upper 40s out the door. Gusty north winds, cloudy skies, and some light rain. So that's the temperature trend. Let's talk about rain chances a little bit. As this front gets here Tuesday evening, we'll have a 30% chance for some isolated showers and non-severe thunderstorms. I definitely can't rule out a few rumbles of thunder, especially north and east of San Antonio, but no concern for strong or severe thunderstorms here as that front gets here on Tuesday. But rain chances will continue Wednesday into Thursday. We'll have some what we call overrunning or moisture fill in overhead of that colder air mass that moves in. So as we stay in the 40s and 50s Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to keep skies overcast and chances of light rain in the forecast for those couple of days. So here's how your rain chances play out. Front gets here Tuesday. Scattered light rain possible Wednesday and Thursday. Things really won't start to clear up until we get to Friday and the start of next weekend. Something else worth mentioning, it is going to stay gusty late Tuesday night, really all the way through the day on Thursday. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be good like soup weather.
Yeah, got to get the soup
for
out.
sure. That's my silver lining there.
Good.
Yeah.
Now we know what to bring for lunch.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, Katie.
We'll be back. The 69th annual NBA All-Star Game is almost in the books, and who takes home the first ever Kobe Bryant MVP award? Let's check in with our Greg Simmons with what's on Instant Replay today.
Yeah, pretty exciting finish down at the wire here. They tried to make it shorter, but they actually lengthened the All-Star Game, and they dropped the green flag in the 2020 NASCAR season with a Great American Race, the Daytona 500. But we'll have to wait another day for the results. Coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
the rebound. That's his range. Young from center court.
Yes. The NBA held its annual All-Star Game at the United Center in Chicago tonight. Our Larry Ramirez is live in the Windy City for all the highlights and locker room coverage. And who took the first ever Kobe Bryant MVP award? We'll also have full coverage of All-Star Saturday, including the controversial finish in the dunk contest. Was Aaron Gordon robbed?
This all-time great grew up on the island of St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands, dreaming of reaching the Olympics as a swimmer.
Tim Duncan is among the 8 finalists for the Naismith Hall of Fame. That announcement also made at All-Star Weekend in Chicago. And KSAT 12 Sports is there for the big moment in Spurs history. The Iceman weighs in on who he calls the greatest Spur ever. Quite the compliment coming from George Gervin. With the All-Star Weekend drawing to a close, the Spurs resume their rodeo road trip. How will they finish out? And this is how Patty Mills spent his All-Star break, helping his fellow countrymen recover from the wildfires in Australia.
It's the green flag. The 62nd Daytona 500 is underway.
And the 2020 NASCAR season underway when they dropped the green flag at Daytona 500. But the greatest American race got off to a rough start after a great pre-race program that included the President and First Lady of the United States. We will have to wait until tomorrow to find out who takes the checkered flag. We'll let you know why. All that plus the sports guys are live in Chicago and here in San Antonio. And should the Cowboys sign Des Bryant again tonight? You decide. Instant Replay is live, and it's after the Nightbeat.
So much to talk about.
Got a lot going.
We'll see you again in just a little bit. Thanks, Greg. We are continuing to cover the latest on the coronavirus. After the break, a look at the latest numbers.
Plus, a nationally recognized bartender living here in San Antonio takes the spotlight in this week's What's Up, South Texas? Continuing our coronavirus coverage now, hundreds of Americans evacuated to the United States tonight, many here in San Antonio after disembarking from a quarantined cruise ship. That ship, the Diamond Princess, still docked in Yokohama, Japan.
This is mainland China. Monday reports a slight uptick in new cases, a little more than 2,000 and an additional 105 deaths. The total now 1,770 since the outbreak began.
ABC's Kenneth Moten has more.
2 jumbo jets headed to the U.S. Sunday night, one expected in California, another in Texas. Both passenger planes packed with Americans who've been quarantined on a cruise ship docked in Japan over coronavirus concerns. Cheryl and Paul Molesky, 2 of the American evacuees, taking a video of themselves leaving the Princess Diamond, the couple quarantined since February 3rd.
All right, this is it. We're about to step into the big wide world, so I have to put my mask on and get going.
This was the announcement they were waiting for.
Now calling only those American guests from Emerald Deck.
You want to see what your next step is?
Yes, we do.
Well, your next step is you get to go forward, hand the passport to this gentleman in the yellow. He will hand it to the State Department folks on either side. They will keep your passport, then they'll put you on a bus. The bus will take you to the airplane. The airplane takes you to the United States.
Hundreds of passengers on board the ship have tested positive for COVID-19. Americans stricken with the virus can't go home yet. They'll be treated in Japan. And those landing in the U.S. now looking at 2 more weeks of isolation. With protective gear in short supply around the world, ABC News with an exclusive look inside this 3M factory in South Dakota, where employees are working overtime to make face masks. And as the coronavirus spreads, at least 760 million people in China, more than half that country's population, facing lockdown or travel restrictions. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Around America, 6 Chicago police officers were hospitalized after 2 patrol cars slammed into each other. The crash happened overnight at Chicago's west side. Investigators say a marked squad car carrying 2 officers and an unmarked squad car with 4 officers crashed into each other at an intersection.
It was just a tragic accident. They just happened to be at the intersection at the exact same moment, responding to a call of an officer needs assistance. And said it's just a tragic accident. They both were there at the same exact time and they hit each other.
As of this morning, 5 officers were listed in stable condition while 1 officer was listed in serious condition.
Staying in Chicago now for this next story. 3 police officers and a 5-year-old boy are among the more than a half dozen people hurt in a fire at an apartment building there. Flames were seen shooting through the roof of the home when firefighters arrived last night. That roof eventually collapsing. The injured officers were reportedly knocking on doors, some even running inside to help people escape. They and 4 others were taken to the hospital after the fact for breathing in smoke. One of the officers actually collapsed at the scene, but all are expected to be okay. It's still unclear tonight what caused that fire.
People inside a New York City theater were evacuated during a performance because of a pepper spray incident. It happened at Broadway's Broadhurst Theater during a performance of Jagged Little Pill. When police got there, they noticed people coughing, some with really watery eyes. Fire crews cleared the theater and the rest of the show was canceled. So far, no arrests have been made, but NYPD reports the investigation is still ongoing.
Take a look at this. Firefighters in Tennessee were able to capture the exact moment a vacant house plunged into the Tennessee River during a landslide. Authorities say the house fell down a steep embankment overnight. Another nearby home was also in danger of sliding into the river, but firefighters were able to evacuate those homes about an hour before all that happened. No one was hurt.
Look outside with live cam this evening, 57 degrees. We're expecting by the time you get out on the roads in the morning, temperatures will be in the low 60s. It's going to be very muggy out there, and we're looking at more fog, mist and drizzle to start the day tomorrow. So not necessarily sweater weather, but by the time we get to Wednesday morning, you are going to want to have that coat handy, and you're going to need to keep it with you for several days this week as temperatures take a big plunge behind a cold front on Tuesday evening. Not just a big temperature drop, but also some chances of rain and a strong north wind. We'll talk all about it in your full forecast. That'll be along in just a little bit. Tim?
A woman who battled alcohol addiction most of her life says she's now new and improved. A look at how and why she transformed her life and became a mentor to others. What's Up South Texas is next. From battling alcohol and drug addiction to being named TouchTunes Bartender of the Year out of the entire nation, Crystal Sanders is hoping her story inspires others to fight alcohol and drug abuse.
She's our next feature on What's Up South Texas, where we highlight unique stories in our community. Japhanie Gray has her story.
All right. Are you done with this as well? Yes, ma'am. Okay, babe. You either struggle to stay clean or fight to stay high every day.
Getting clean was a decision Crystal Sanders decided to make over 3 years ago. Not only is she now a bartender, but she also works as a direct care specialist for Alpha Home, which serves those fighting alcohol and drug addiction.
I serve people alcohol here, and I keep people from drinking it there.
This was the result of a dark past.
I was molested starting at the age of 9.
She didn't know how to cope with the trauma growing up. In high school, she discovered drugs, which ultimately took her down another dark road.
When drinking sort of got involved, that was, I realized, wow.
When she got to college, the drugs and alcohol came to a brief halt after she had her first son 2 months early.
He was only 2 pounds, 14 ounces.
But the drinking and drugs got worse. She became a single mother after having her second son at 21. Unfortunately, more trauma followed.
I was brutally raped in 2007. Same thing. But open that bottle of wine and open that beer and take a Jaeger shot and you're good.
Crystal says she was good at hiding her alcoholism from everyone.
I seemed perfect on the outside and I was crumbling and lost on the inside.
She lost custody of her 4 children, and on that day, she tried committing suicide.
I brought pictures of my kids and I laid them on the table. Cops and helicopters. And they started searching within a 5-mile radius for me, and they found me right before. They found me with my .22 in my lap.
Crystal became homeless, jobless, and careless, but after a nearly successful suicide, she checked into Alpha Home in 2017.
Someone to actually listen to me and go, it's okay that you're screwed up. It's all right.
Years later, Crystal mentors others with addictions.
I tell them that they're my biggest hero. They are going through a fight that I went through.
She also was awarded TouchTunes Bartender of the Year award out of the entire nation, and now has a relationship with all of her children again.
He said, I'm proud of you, Mom. He said, I'm so proud of you.
Crystal's desire to share her story so that others will be inspired to fight addictions is very powerful for What's Up South Texas.
There's not a thing as rock bottom. If you're alive and breathing, you can always go up.
Now, Crystal is now training to one day help those finishing rehab transition into the real world. Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Looking outside with live cam, 57 degrees. It's beautiful for now, but we're expecting some fog to develop overnight. We'll talk more about what that means for your Monday coming up in just a few minutes.
Top safety picks, often an important factor when it comes to buying a new vehicle. After the break, a look at some new vehicles which passed the test.
When it comes to buying a new car, safety is usually a high priority. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety recently released its top safety picks. And as 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz explains, it's no longer enough to just protect the driver and passenger in a crash. Cars have to protect pedestrians too.
Watch what happens to this dummy when the Toyota Camry crashes at 40 miles an hour. The car is crushed. The passenger, though, is protected. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety tested more than 200 models to determine the safest, not just for people in the cars, but pedestrians, too.
This is really important because pedestrian fatalities in the U.S. have risen dramatically over the last several years.
More than 6,000 pedestrians were killed in 2018. So for the first time, vehicles must have pedestrian crash prevention systems to get the highest safety honors. Watch as this Subaru Forester brakes automatically, missing the dummy. Also priority this year, headlights.
The risk of being involved in a crash at night is much greater than it is during the day.
Check out this stark difference. With these LED low beams, you can see the deer, but with halogen low beams, you can't. The Institute gave 23 vehicles its highest safety awards. Mazda was a standout. So was Hyundai, which includes Kia and Genesis.
Absent from the list are any minivans or pickup trucks. That's mostly due to a lack of pedestrian protection. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Well, keep your sweaters out for later, but also keep your nice warm clothes out. So basically keep your entire wardrobe available.
Make everything easily accessible. Yes, yeah.
So like you can't even
One of those weeks.
It's one of those
Strap
weeks.
in, we're going for a ride on the roller coaster.
Like flip-flops tomorrow and then coats. Yeah, boots by Wednesday. Yeah, hold on tight. We go on a little ride this week. And, you know, watching the cars made me think, remember when you run into fog, which you made tomorrow morning,
Yes.
low beams, not
high beams. Good
So
reminder.
There you go.
You passed your driver's test.
Yeah. My mom would disagree, but here we are. It was a warm day today. Nice and cool now, though. We're in the 50s. I actually think we could see temperatures rebound a little bit, come up a few degrees through first thing tomorrow morning. But right now we're at 57. It's 51 in Kerrville, still close to 70 degrees down in Cotulla. Look at our dew points. They're much higher over on the coastal bend from Gonzales down to Victoria, 63 there, and then 64. Big 10-degree dew point spread between Gonzales and San Antonio. So fog is likely to develop off to the east of San Antonio first, and that's what we're seeing now. Visibility down to 3 miles in Victoria, 5 miles in New Braunfels, but I expect this fog to kind of begin to really thicken up here on the coastal bend and then spread off to the north and west, fill in for more of us by early tomorrow morning. So here's how your President's Day plays out. 60 degrees in the morning, fog, mist, a little bit of drizzle possible as well. So another gray start to the day. But just like today, I expect we'll clear up a little bit in the afternoon, seeing some sunshine even by lunchtime, partly cloudy at times tomorrow afternoon to get us up into the upper 70s tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening, just like what we're seeing today, more fog beginning to develop. That'll take us into another foggy start to the day on Tuesday. And then Tuesday evening, that's when our big changes really start to roll in. We lost the low clouds this afternoon, but there's been plenty of mid and high level cloud cover moving in from the west today. That's still streaming in overhead. And overnight tonight, we'll see those low clouds fill back in such that skies will be overcast by first thing tomorrow morning. Look across the country. There's been plenty of rain over in Florida, which unfortunately bumped the Daytona 500 to tomorrow. A low pressure system there causing that rain, a little frontal boundary, also a front draped across portions of the Tennessee River Valley. But we've got a low pressure system in front winding up there near the Rockies tonight. And that's the front that will be arriving here in San Antonio as we get into Tuesday evening. So tomorrow, another warm day, and then Tuesday, we'll have enough time to warm into the low to mid 70s before that front arrives. It should get to San Antonio between about 4 and 6 p.m. on Tuesday. So plenty of time to warm up, especially along and south of Highway 90 on Tuesday afternoon. If you're up in the hill country, that front gets to you sooner on Tuesday, so it won't be quite as warm for you. You'll see your temperatures start to drop off faster, but this front swings through by Wednesday. It is cold and it is windy, and we're going to have a hard time warming up for a few days, even after that front clears the area. As far as rain chances go, as this front rolls in Tuesday afternoon and evening, some isolated showers and non-severe thunderstorms will be possible. But even as that front moves south, we're not going to clear out. There's going to be plenty of moisture in the form of cloud cover and also some light rain that will continue to kind of stream in from the west Wednesday into Wednesday nights. We get into Thursday, still some really light rain around. So the kicker with this rain Wednesday into Thursday, it's all going to be really light for us, so it's not going to add up to a whole lot. I think through the end of the day, Thursday, before we clear out on Friday, maybe a quarter to a half inch of rain, and that would be really generous. I think maybe closer to a quarter of an inch of rain here. But look how cold we stay because of the cloud cover and the rain. Upper 40s, low 50s Wednesday into Thursday. And that wind is not going to be messing around. We could see some gusts around 30 miles per hour Wednesday into Thursday. That always gets me, is the wind.
Yeah, and you don't think of that, how much cooler it makes it feel.
Yeah, so be ready for that. Yeah.
Difficult it is to be outside in the wind.
Yeah.
Hold on to your hat.
Especially reporting. It's always hair in the face. Get ready for that.
Sonic booms with a record-breaking opening, surprising many in the process. A look at your weekend box office straight ahead.
Bad Boys for Life dropped to 5th place in its 5th weekend out. $11.3 million gave the action threequel a domestic total of $183 million. The romantic drama The Photograph debuted in 4th place with $12.3 million. Blumhouse's Fantasy Island opened 3rd on ticket sales of $12.4 million. The newly renamed Harley Quinn Birds of Prey fell to 2nd place, earning $17.1 million.
All right, get in the truck.
Really? You're gonna help me?
Sonic the Hedgehog took the title, zooming off with $57 million, topping Pokemon Detective Pikachu for the best debut ever for a film based on a video game. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Kind of a tough season for movies, though. For the first time since Spurs Sports and Entertainment announced the sale of the Rampage to Las Vegas, the players and coaches are reacting to that stunning announcement.
First, the Flying Chanclas, and now our San Antonio Missions will be known as the Puffy Tacos for at least one series this coming season. With more on what's an instant replay tonight, let's head over to Greg Sims.
Don't you know that's going to generate merchandise purchases beyond belief here?
Oh, yeah.
What gives the Astros lame apologies for their sign-stealing scandal? The sports guys will tackle that and more live from Chicago and San Antonio coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
What's taking so long, man? This is easy, right? Well, they're all looking at each other's scores, too. Yeah, this is easy.
Was Aaron Gordon robbed at the dunk contest during NBA All-Star Weekend? And what is up with the Astros dropping the ball and apologizing for their sign-stealing scandal? And should the Cowboys sign Des Bryant again? The sports guys tackle these subjects live from the All-Star game in Chicago and right here in San Antonio.
The last game we played, were upwards of 12,000 people in the seats. So for the pink and the rake. So those are certain things like that that the community is going to miss.
For the first time since Spurs Sports and Entertainment announced that the Rampage had been sold to Las Vegas and the AHL franchise is playing its last season in San Antonio tonight, the players and coaches reacted to that stunning announcement. Our San Antonio Missions will be known at least in one series this coming season as the Puffy Tacos. Andrew Seeley focuses on some special moments for O'Connor High School, Karn City's last home game of the season, and have the results of the UIL State Swim Meet and get you ready for girls high school basketball playoffs. And Jessica Hunt visits with the Antonian Apaches, getting ready to defend their state basketball title with an incredible win streak. And Larry Ramirez will have live post-game interviews from NBA All-Star Weekend. We have exclusives with George Gervin and Davis Bertans. All that plus San Antonio's FC exhibition season is underway with an 18-year-old from Central Cali stealing the show. Instant Replay is live and it's next.
Puffy taco hats, though, man, they look pretty tight.
They go fast.
Yep.
I'm hungry.
All right. We know the news can be a little hard to hear at times, so we want to end your night by telling you something good when we come back.